Hi everybody. So if you saw my video the other week, you'll know that a holy day is where we get the word for holidays from. But here in England, we're now in the summer holidays, so the kids are off school and we'll be going away soon. I've just asked on the page if anyone's got any book recommendations, but I am going to give you my book recommendations. So I've picked 4. I was going to pick 3, but I couldn't decide, and they're not chocolate bars, are they? So I can have 4 if I want. And there's a mixture. So there's some in here for people who like their general history. There's one in here if you just want a short read, and I've got a couple if you want to get more deep into some of the subjects. So the first one, I'm going to struggle with this title. This is by Colin Brown. It's called Glory and Bollocks, and it's easy to read because these 10 events that he talks about, they're a chapter each, so you can dip in and just read that chapter. It doesn't have to be read in order, so it's a really good book for holidays. Really good book if you've got kids with you and you get interrupted, that kind of thing. And he goes through some of the big events in British history, which we taught about and learn about in a certain way, and he dispels some of the myths. So he's covered like Magna Carta, Glorious Revolution. I'm going to cover in the membership at some point because that is a really interesting event. I've said Magna Carta, Armada, that's a really interesting one. So he covers 10 events, so that's a really good one. A short read, which I love this one. This is by Janina Ramirez, Julian of Norwich. Now, Julian is a lady, and she's an incredible character to learn about. I've done a whole review on this book on my website. So if you have a look on britishhistorytours.com/blogs and have a look for this one, I think I've called it One Woman Finds Her Voice Through Another, because Julian of Norwich, being a woman in history, her story is very nearly lost, but Janina Ramirez brings it back to life, and she's incredible. So that's definitely worth a read, and only short. So again, doable on holiday. But if you want to use your time to get a bit deeper into some stuff, I've got 2 books here on. They're linked to the Tudors, and we're doing Tudors in the membership group at the moment. So these are books I've been sort of referring to for myself and my own research over time. This one is brilliant. A guy called Thomas Penn, he's done a programme on this to go with this book as well, which I think you can get on YouTube now, The Winter King, and it's about Henry VII. So Henry VII is obviously the founder of the Tudor dynasty, but he's overshadowed by Henry VIII and Elizabeth I. But he's an incredible character, and he's a really interesting read because he was shrewd, but he was extremely clever. I mean, this guy, if you saw my video the other day about the Tudor rose, this is the guy, that Tudor rose that he invented must be the most successful branding exercise of all time, in my opinion. It has to be. And Thomas Penn covers him and his reign and his counsellors, and up to his son Henry VIII taking over on his death, and the changes that had to come about at that point. So that's really good. And then if you fancy a really meaty read, Elizabeth and Mary by Jane Dunn. Sorry, a bit washed out there. This is Elizabeth and Mary, the cousins. So this is Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots. Cousins, rival queens. So obviously Mary, Queen of Scotland, England, Elizabeth, Queen of England, and they're cousins, but it ended up in one of those people dying. So it absolutely, you're going to have a bit of time to read that, but it's a brilliant book. I would recommend that. So if you've got any recommendations, please let me know. Or if you are going to go and read any of those, or you have read of those, I'd love to know what you think about the recommendations or about those books themselves. And I will speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.